Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to So You Want to Be a Sabb, which is our elections launch broadcast, where you can ask sabbatical officers at the moment, the full-time officers at the Student Association, what it's like doing their jobs, and how you can get involved and run for one of these positions as well. Nominations for the executive elections are open right now at ausa.org.uk/elections. Nominations close in just a couple of weeks, so if you're interested, now is the time to ask questions. I'm just going to quickly go around and introduce the people who are here. So Emily and Jenny, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name's Emily. I'm the student president at the Students Association.
And my name's Jenny, and I'm the president for charities and community at the Students Association.
Excellent. And Jenna and Veronica, can you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm the president for Welfare and Equal Opportunities at the Students Association.
Hi, I'm Veronica. I'm the president for Societies and Student Activities here at AUSA.
Cool. And my name's Rob. I am the current president for Education and Employability. But like Emily, my job is up soon. I can't do it anymore. So if anyone wants to run to take over from Education, this is the time to ask questions, and do come and chat to us. So first question we've got, really easy one to get going. What is the best part about being a sabbatical officer? Jenna and Veronica, you can start with this one.
I'm just going to take the first question. I think the best part about being a SAB is, first of all, that you get to work with amazing people, with amazing students who are extremely motivated and engaged, and you get to help them out with their projects that they're working on, and that on a daily basis. And then another thing is that you can just turn your ideas into reality. If you have an idea that you're convinced about and something that you think is definitely missing in our student life, or in student life and on campus at the moment, you can make that come true. So that's pretty cool.
I think the best part for me is like the reactions you get when you do something that's actually quite meaningful or like makes people happy, and yeah, it's really nice knowing that you can impact on somebody else's time at university and that you can make a difference in how the rest of their university life is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Emily and Jenny, same question.
I think for me, it's definitely how fast-paced and different each day is. I think every day there's a different challenge and a different thing going on, different campaigns to run, different people to speak to, and I really love that about the role.
Yeah, and I would agree. I'd say it was a combination of both what everybody else has said. I think it's a very varied role, a very interesting role, a very challenging role at times. As Emily said, no 2 days are the same, but you're exposed to a huge number of different people, whether that be university staff or staff here at AUSA, your colleagues, your friends, other students, and it's really great to work with a large and diverse group of different people.
Brilliant, good answers. And I suppose a follow-up question to that then, a lot of you have said that it's a challenging role and very varied. And I'm sure that some people are worried that if they've not been involved in the Student Association before, they might not know what sort of things go on. They might not feel like that they can get involved as a sabbatical straight away because they've not been part of the Student Association before, especially because the work is different from everything else you could have done before. So is there training involved? What sort of support do sabbatical officers get? And is this something that you can start without having been involved before? Emily and Jenny.
Okay.
Yeah, well, at the beginning of your term as a sabbatical officer, you do have a few weeks of intense training, and you'll also receive a handover from your predecessor, and I think that really helps. It sort of helps you to find your feet, what you're doing, and that's really helpful. I think the job is definitely a case of learning through doing. I know from my own experiences, it took me a couple of months to find my feet and to really work out sort of what I wanted to do, how realistic my timelines were, and what I thought I could achieve. But I don't think it's something that people should be put off by or intimidated by. I think that as long as you're proactive in your approach and you can use your initiative, I think some people will take to it to duck like water and others will take slightly longer, but that's okay.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think that, in fact, you should really take encouragement from the fact that no one's done anything like this before in uni, or probably in their previous, any work experience they have or volunteering experience or anything, so that you can take encouragement that you're all in the same boat. You're a team of 7, and and you're learning as you go, and that's what Jenny said, and there's training opportunities throughout the year, so you don't need to worry if there's things that you think you're really strong on and some things you're not so good at. We can help you get to that strong point.
Great. Jenna, Veronica, anything to add?
Yeah, I think that it's also really important to like realize that we all come from really different backgrounds. So like, I mean, I was part of a sport committee and the University Nightline, and Veronica was the president of society. Everybody's really different. Some people have been VPs before, others haven't. I mean, I never particularly thought of myself as being hugely involved in AUSA, mainly because I didn't realize that these things were all linked. But you have to remember that with everybody's different backgrounds as well, you can all help each other, and there's a lot of support there, and there's staff as well to help support you. You're never alone in the job.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with what Jenna said. I mean, I wasn't really particularly involved with AUSA before, but I think what they did was amazing, and being involved as a PIR president, PR Society president, I did learn a lot about what's going on with AUSA in that year, in my 4th year. But everyone does the role differently. We all do the role very differently to our predecessors, because we just try to apply ourselves as well as possible, and try to work on our projects and our ideas and with our committees as much as possible. And it changes from year to year. So I don't think anyone needs to be scared, and you will learn a lot about what's going on within your first couple of months in your job.
I think that's absolutely right. The sort of the different backgrounds that people come to this sort of role with, and the different priorities and ambitions they have, is you can make the job your own, and that's what really makes this sort of role work. A trickier question then, given that people come into this sort of role with lots of different experience or no experience at all, what sort of thing do you wish you had known before you ran to be a sabbatical officer, whether it was about elections or about what the job would be like, what you could or couldn't get done? Jenna and Veronica, you go first.
I don't know. I think it would have been good to know, or not really to know, but just to be realistic in my approach to the job. I think I had so many big plans and I had so many things I wanted to do, but you forget that there is like a time limit on it. You're in the job for 12 months, and it's not just within your remit. I mean, you've got meetings you have to go to, and you do have more of an influence than I first realised on the goings on at the university as well. And I think, yeah.
I think something that also I underestimated is the different hats that you have to wear all the time. That you're not only president of your remit, but you're a trustee, you're president of the executive committee. You have so many different roles that you have to play, sometimes even within a meeting, where you have to think about your remit and being a trustee and being the Sabb, and so many different things at the same time. And that is quite interesting, actually, and it can be challenging at times, but it's something that brings you further, and you learn a lot about how to wear those different hats at the same time, and and also how long it takes to get things done. I think we all, especially in the beginning, we all come in and we have so many ideas, and then we learn about who we have to meet and who we have to talk to, whom do we have to lobby to get things to move forward, and sometimes it can take a bit longer, but it is quite interesting to see how things develop.
Cool, great answer. Emily and Jenny, anything to add?
This is my 2nd year as a sabbatical officer, so I think going into this year was a much easier transition than initially, and I can't think of too much that I think I needed to know, but Jenny might have something to add.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything. I wish I'd known how many emails I was going to get, but other than that, I think there's nothing major that I look back and I feel like I wasn't quite sure about before I came in.
But that's as well why we're here. You know, this is your chance before you run in the campaign or nominate yourself, that you can ask us questions or ask whoever's in the role that you want to take on about what they do day to day, and get a good feel for what the role is really like.
Cool. So yeah, talking about running for the role, nominating yourself, standing in elections, writing manifestos, let's talk about how someone can become a Sabb, because it's clearly an amazing opportunity, and can do a lot for the student community and for the Student Association. But it's not like getting any normal job. There's no interview process. There's a democratic process. So Emily and Jenny, do you want to talk a little bit about that? How do you go about writing a manifesto, and how does an election campaign feel?
So you've got to start right at the beginning. So the first step is to nominate yourself, which basically means you put your name forward. It just means you say that you're interested in running for a role, and you give the names of some people who would definitely support you. So they're friends or classmates, flatmates, whoever they might be. They just have to be registered students. The next step then is, like Rob said, writing your manifesto. And a manifesto is all about your values and ideas that you have that you would like to bring to the Students' Association, issues that you feel are really important for the student body here, and you kind of pop those down just basically on a piece of paper. It's really easy. We can also help you with that. We actually have a workshop on how to write a manifesto for candidates if you're interested in coming along, and we can show you what a good manifesto looks like and what a not so effective manifesto looks like. You can have cool slogans on your manifesto and all that kind of fun campaigning things. And then after that is the 3-day campaigning period, which is running this year from the 10th to the 12th of March. So campaigning really means talking to students. That's what it is. I mean, if you're second year or above, you've seen the elections period, that there's hundreds of posters around campus and people want to talk to you all the time and tell you about their ideas and kind of get a feel for how much you agree with them or not. So yeah, that's really what it is. Sounds simple when I say it like that.
Jenna, Veronica, have you got any advice for people who are trying to write a manifesto or planning a campaign?
Take some time off occasionally. It's so easy to let it become like your whole life, and you need to remember that sometimes you just need to get a bit of sleep and have a break and take care of yourself. Self-care is so important. And speak to your friends about your ideas and stuff, and actually talk to students, because at the end of the day we're here to represent students. So it's all well and good having the ideas that you want, but it's also really important to speak to other students and find out if that is actually what they want to see happen or not.
Yeah, and have a reach out to your friends and have a good team.
Yeah.
Someone who takes care of you and who is convinced of your ideas as well. I think having a strong election team is really key as well.
It can make it fun as well if you're out with your friends campaigning and
Jenny, Emily, have you got any top tips for planning a campaign and writing a manifesto?
Think carefully about what you want to say. I think that as much as your manifesto is can be quite can take some time to collate, I think it's important that you take the time to think about what you want to put in it. These are your values that you do run on, and then often it can be your goals that you set out to achieve during your time in office. I think it's important to choose points that really matter to you, that are achievable, that are realistic, that you don't pick too many, and that they're quite focused, well thought out, and that you've spoken to people about them, and that others agree that they're good points or good strategies to go for.
Emily, anything to add?
Yeah, I'd agree with Jenny. I think that some people have a tendency to put heaps and heaps on their manifesto because it makes them look like they have loads of ideas, but actually you realise very quickly when you come into the office there's not that much you can do in 9 months. You know, it's really not a very long time, especially because, you know, well, you're in office for 12 months, but, you know, 3 of those is the summer and students aren't here to do anything with or run any campaigns or anything like that. So I think, yeah, be focused and really think about what your key priorities are, because if you put down just maybe 4 things that you want to do and you get them done, then you can do extra things. But if you overload yourself and you put 10 things on your manifesto, you might struggle to get even 3 of them done properly.
I think something that I just would like to add is that talk to us if you have certain ideas. Come in and talk to us about your idea, and also talk to the staff member. If you're running for a certain remit, come in and just ask them if they have 5-10 minutes of their time to talk about your ideas that you want to put in your manifesto and how achievable those are, and if that's something that they would like to support, and work with them, communicate with the whole team, because this is a team you're going to work with if you win your election, and this is a team you are trying to support as well in some way. So talk to us about your ideas and we'll be happy to give you feedback and how that would work.
Cool, great answers, folks. One of the questions that I keep getting asked when I'm around campus and talking about elections and stuff is how much influence do sabbatical officers really have in the university and in local community and even within the student association? from your perspective, do sabbatical officers actually get to set the agenda, or is it much more about having their own little projects and not really being in control of the big picture? Emily, you're probably the best person to start with this.
Yeah, so especially in my role, I sit on a lot of different university meetings and have a lot of university contacts and have created those networks, which means I feel like I really do get to change things. My opinion matters in meetings. As a sabbatical officer, you're the expert on students and within your remit as well, if you have a particular remit. So, for example, things that sabbaticals have achieved in the past couple of years is things like freezing international student fees. We've changed the university's kind of behavior and the way they deal with student parents. We've ensured that students can start creating courses themselves about what they're interested in. Heaps of big things that have been changed, and we really, even as a class rep, that you see that you're able to change your courses. So think how much more that's magnified when you're a full-time officer and you've really made those connections. I mean, we're getting a new student association building that's worth £8 million. If that's not really changing something, not sure what is.
Jenny, anything to add?
Well, I think for me, my role is quite community-facing and involves a lot of fundraising. For example, last year, the fundraising campaign raised £92,000 for local charities here in Aberdeen, and that we're talking about large sums of money here. And to be able to make that kind of difference and to really change people's lives in the local community, that's a big deal. And I feel very privileged to be able to empower students to help fundraise and to help make change. And I think it's brilliant, and I can see the changes. We're really helping people here in Aberdeen, and that's great.
Cool. Jenna, Veronica, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, Emily already mentioned the project board. I mean, this is maybe one of the biggest projects that you would be able to influence as a sabbatical officer, and that we're going to get a new union building, which is very exciting, and which will hopefully stay here for a couple of decades.
Hopefully more than that.
Hopefully more than that, and get renovated in between. But yeah, so this is something where you will actively play a role, and but also things like different volunteering initiatives or different campaigns. It might not even be within the university, but you always have an influence within the student body, even if it's just being part of a sports team or running all the sports teams, running all the societies, running volunteering schemes. You do have an influence on how you can improve a student's life.
Yeah, I mean, in one of my first meetings, when Bright was still here, it was during my handover, it was decided that there'd be compulsory E&D training. It would be mandatory for all staff, which I think was a huge win, and we're still working on improving that training and things. But I think that there are big ways we influence decisions, and there are also small ways, and just reminding the university and other people that the students, they do count and their opinions do matter, and really relaying that information to them. It's important to represent students and make sure that people's focus is where it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, good answers, folks. I think it's clear that that being a sabbatical officer is an incredible opportunity, and especially to improve the student community, improve the university, and the world in general through the work you can do. But I remember when I was first thinking of becoming a sabbatical officer, there was part of me that was worried that I was in my final year, and a lot of friends of mine in Aberdeen were moving away, and I know people who have run in from their third year and were worried about falling behind with classes and things like that, and not having an active social life around it. It sounds like a very demanding job. Is it possible to be a Sabb without having a breakdown? How do you manage this, and what's it like outside of the office? Jenna and Veronica, you begin.
Okay. There are moments when it's tough. I mean, like any job, there are times when it's really, really, really busy and it's really demanding of you, but there are other times when you can take a bit of time off. And I mean, we work 36.5 hours a week, and we do have flexi time. We can use toil, and I don't know, it's a completely different job to anything else. You're still a student, you can still take part in societies and sports clubs, you can still get involved with students, and it can be difficult, especially in fourth year when your friends leave and stuff, but you forget that there's 16,000 students here. I mean, you're going to find some pals, you're going to find some friends, and yeah.
And the sabbatical team is also there to support you. I mean, we've been sending each other home this year because some of the Sabbs have been just working way too much. And then we said, take a break, go home, take a nap or something. We have a sofa here, so sometimes we force people to take naps. No, but I think it can be tricky because you're so passionate about what you do, and your friends are involved in your job. Basically, you don't want to let anyone down. So I think this is why you run the danger of working way too hard and way too much sometimes. But it's important to take care of yourself as well, so that you can have that balance and be good at your job. Because if you run yourself down, your job is going to suffer as well. So having that balance is really good. And
also, like, when it comes to campaigning and stuff, like, it's 3 really demanding days. I mean, you want to make sure that you're up to date with your work before that, and to speak to your lecturers and stuff about it, because they are understanding. And if you say to them, look, I'm running in this, it's going to take a lot of my time, then they're nice, they're kind most of the time. Mine were all right.
Emily, Jenny, anything to add?
My advice would be just to try and take some downtime, as the girls were saying, and make sure that you continue to do the things you like doing. So whether that's playing sport, then you can carry on being part of the Students' Association teams, or keep going to society. If you enjoy going to the cinema on a Thursday evening, keep going. Or if you're interested in food or hobbies, or make sure you keep that up and take some downtime, see family, see friends, and try your best to keep your work-life balance appropriate, because you do need some downtime at times.
I think as well it's reminding students that although that we are here for them, we can't be here 24/7, and that students want us to do more and more and more, and that's great, because we want to do more and more and more, but we do have to have, you know, some days off in a week, just the same as students have some days off in a week, and that kind of time to chill, otherwise we'd all be burnt out.
Cool. And there's a kind of a feature of the job being very high pressure and sometimes, you know, quite hard work, especially when we're forgetting to look after ourselves. I imagine there's some people looking at the sabbatical office roles and saying, well, most sabbatical officers tend to be young, tend to be undergraduates, tend to have been arts students and come from quite specific backgrounds, and maybe they're looking at, you know, the teams that we've had over the last few years and saying, is this job really for me? Emily, I'm going to ask you that question. Is that job really for people who don't fit into that category?
Absolutely. And I think this is, you know, people have said to me that they, you know, students have said, actually, you know, they self-define as black and they feel like maybe this isn't the workplace for them. That is absolutely not the case. You know, the way to improve the diversity of SABs, both racially, with gender, with subjects that we've studied, with countries that we come from, beliefs that we have, is to run yourself. And don't be worried if you don't see someone in the team right now that looks like you or has the same opinions as you, because everybody's opinions are just as valid, and we want everybody to get involved as much as possible. And yeah, just run. That's how you got to change these things.
Cool. Does anyone want to add anything? No. Okay. Very great. Emily's given a perfect answer to that one. Okay. Just I think last major question to wrap up. For people who are watching this now and saying, no, I've decided, like, being a sabbatical officer, one of these roles, society's president or sports president, these look like amazing opportunities, and I'm full of ideas about how to change the university and lead the student community. What should I be doing right now? What's the answer to that? Veronica and Jenna, you begin.
Go to ausa.org.uk/elections and find the nomination form. No, just talk to people and find out what people think of it as well, because I mean, I wasn't sure whether I should run it, and just speaking to my friends and having that kind of confirmation that, like, they think I'd be good in the role, and you don't need that, but it's nice to know. It gives you a little boost, and yeah, you shouldn't doubt yourself going into this role. There's so much training, and it's an absolutely amazing opportunity.
Cool. Jenny, Emily, anything to add to that? What should people be doing right now?
They should be coming to our workshops, Rob. That's what they should be doing. So we have heaps of events lined up that can help people who think they want to run, but they're maybe not so sure about some aspects. We have an event on how to win a workshop on how to win a campaign, on about the current issues that are in the higher education sector, so the universities, and here at Aberdeen as well, so we can kind of get you up to speed on that. Please come in and talk to us if you have anything that you want to know, and yeah, just go for it. It's best advice, I think.
Brilliant. I think that is us. Those are all the questions that we've got. Thank you very much, folks, for tuning into this, and thank you to Jenna, Veronica, Emily, and Jenny for joining us for this. Thanks very much.